You're selling to locals, and your supply chains are simpler and safer and shorter, and you're largely become immune to shocks beyond the horizon. This is a good challenge. It won't be easy, but to be perfectly blunt, we've done it before. We can do it again.
Well, one of the things that came up during COVID was our understanding, for the first time, of the supply chain and what happens when it gets cut off. And when so much medicine is produced in China, so many computer chips, so many different things are made over there, that there's been a real conversation about the need to have all that stuff here and for the United States to be self-sustaining.
With the inflation, I don't want to come across as a partisan here, but the Inflation Reduction Act, while from an inflation point of view, was ridiculous. There's nothing about that addresses inflation. It did put together a nationalist economic policy that we probably did need in terms of pushing the reindustrialization on some specific sectors. It'll probably be the first of a series of things that are coming. And a lot of this stuff is not particularly complicated. So take the medication issue. It's 1950s technology for the most part. The medicines that we import from China and India are not the biologics or the cutting edge stuff or the cancer drugs. They're the day-to-day maintenance things that a lot of us use. And it is not particularly expensive or time consuming to build out the capacity here. It's basic chemistry. But there has not been an economic incentive to do it yet. So you get one act of Congress and splash a little cash on it, and it might cost us 8 cents for a pill instead of 4 cents. But, we can argue whether or not that is worth the price. You get into more sophisticated manufacturing, and it kind of does this weird split. So the United States is a world leader at the very high end, whether it's semiconductors or vehicles or machinery or software. But we're also a world leader on the low end if it's input intensive, so energy products and food products, fuel, processed foods. Our problem is in the middle, places where it's not the natural bounty of North America that helps us out, and it's not the ingenuity and the skill of the American workforce that helps us out. The stuff in the middle. To be perfectly blunt, for that, we've got Mexico, and they're great at it. The American-Mexican trade relationship is already the largest in the world, and they're going to be our largest trading partner moving forward for at least the next 30 years, probably a lot more. Are there hiccups? Oh, yeah. Plenty of hiccups.
Well, I'm sure you're paying attention to the cartel wars that are going on right now.
Yeah, it would be so much better if Americans did not like cocaine. That would just solve half of this overnight.
Or if cocaine was legal.
The health studies that I have seen suggest that is not the way forward.
But do you really think that it would change the consumption?
Oh, it would definitely alter the consumption. How, I don't know. This is not something I'm an expert at. But most of the people that I've seen who have done the assessments suggest that any gain in terms of law enforcement and criminal activity would be lost in terms of work days and sickness. So from a purely economic point of view, at best, it looks like it might be a wash.
So the legalization of cocaine, in your opinion, would cause more use and more problems?
Probably.
But wouldn't
just
it
different
stop all these fentanyl overdose? Because this is an issue with the illegalization.
See, that's the problem. When you ask people why they're taking what drug, to say that if cocaine was immediately available that they'd stop taking fentanyl, I don't know.
But they're not taking fentanyl on purpose.
Oh, you're talking about the stuff that's cut in.
A lot of the fentanyl deaths is cut. Like cocaine fentanyl deaths are very high.
Well, then you're talking about a regulatory issue. And just keep in mind that whenever you move something in from an illegal to a regulatory point of view, there is how should we call this, an adjustment process. So I live in Colorado now, which was the first state to legalize pot. And what we discovered was that, yes, you solve some problems and you bring a lot of money in for the government, but it has criminalized a lot of economic activity in Colorado. Because think about what happened with pot. It's still controlled from a financial point of view at the federal level. Mm-hmm. So banks won't touch it. So all the pot dispensaries have a walk-in safe where they keep all the cash.
Yeah.
So the Federal Reserve is like, this is a theft issue. This is a security issue. We can't allow this to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to hire out a bunch of armored cars and trucks, and we're going to send these to these pot dispensaries after hours. And with armored guards, we're going to come in and we're going to take all your cash. We're going to spray a lot of Febreze on it. We're going to take it back to the Federal Reserve building. We're going to count it and give you a digital deposit. The Sinaloa cartel is like, whoa. Let me get this right. The Federal Reserve of the United States of America is now in the business of money laundering. Count us in. And so now they are laundering their money through the pot industry of Colorado. And it's generated just a different problem.